Dato, John, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Mark. Yourself?
Doing great, doing great. We've been trying to set this interview up for a couple weeks, and I'm glad to have you finally on board. How's everything going with you? Obviously, the world has changed in the last 6, 7 weeks. How are you adapting to whatever the new normal, or how are you adapting to what's been going on with the coronavirus, the COVID-19, over the last 6, 7 weeks?
It's been different. I've had to cancel fights and had to stay home. Lost jobs, but everything is doing well. Just gotta been staying safe and staying busy.
When you say lost jobs, were you working outside of boxing? What were you
Yes, sir.
doing?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was working at InShape as a personal trainer.
Um, right before we got on, you said you're training. So what are you doing to stay in shape? I know a lot of the gyms, if not all the gyms, have been closed. What have you been doing to stay busy and keep yourself ready?
I've just been running a lot at the beach and running stairs, and I have my own gym.
Okay.
So I've been training at my own gym. So pretty much I train at 6 to 8 at night.
So have you been able to keep basically the same regimen as if you were preparing for a fight, or have you had to alter stuff because of what's going on?
I have to alter stuff because my coaches just comes twice a week at the gym because they don't want to take the risk.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that. So me and my coaches just trains Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, have you been talking to a lot of fighters and a lot of guys? You guys become friends and whatnot. Have you been talking to a lot of fighters to see what they've been up to, and what's your sense? Are a lot of the fighters doing maybe what you're doing, and people doing more, people doing less?
I've been talking to fighters like Victor Ortiz. We've been talking. He's a humble guy, and Leo Santa Cruz. We've been talking in DM and Instagram. They've been staying healthy and staying safe.
Do you find that a lot of fighters have been training at all, or?
Well, I've seen their Instagram. They're staying busy because after this pandemic is over, there's gonna be a fight just around the corner. So we all gotta be ready.
Let's talk about you and your career. Obviously, you're undefeated. A lot of fans out there, especially on the East Coast here, don't know much about you. So, how did this all start? What got you into boxing?
Well, I didn't know what I was gonna do after high school, so I found out about boxing. So I went to a boxing gym called the Minami, and every day after high school, I run from my high school, run there, and train every day. And I got recognized by a coach that now who's with me since day one, and we've been training and training and got me to amateur fights. And he believed on me, and now we're here.
Now, you grew up in the Philippines. At what age did you come over to the United States?
I was 7 years old.
Okay, so most of pretty much all of your boxing, guidance and fights and whatnot has been in the United States.
Yes, sir.
I guess obviously the obvious question ever since the emergence of Manny Pacquiao, and I would imagine you still have a lot of family back in the Philippines when you started getting more into your boxing career. Do people know you back in the Philippines in terms of what you're doing now, being undefeated?
Yeah. When I fought the undercard with under Manny, I got so much exposure, and so much of my family in the Philippines. Like, that's my cousin. That's family.
What was that like fighting on an undercard of a Manny Pacquiao fight?
It was a dream come true. I've never ever thought that's gonna happen that early. Just hard work pays off.
Talked about your style. For the fans who haven't seen you, 14-0-1, 9 knockouts. Look, I saw a couple of tapes. Seems like you have some you have some power to you. You got some other skills to you. Tell everyone out there about your skills. What you bring to the table.
I'm an aggressive fighter. I go forward, but I stay distance and be smart with my punches. I go a lot for the body, and first round, third, second round, I try and see what the boxer has, and then the third round, that's where I try and finish him off.
So you're out there for not to stay out there that long, and you want. It sounds like you're a very entertaining fighter.
Yes, sir.
What's been maybe your toughest fight to date? Talk about that. What have you had to overcome in the rings in your young career?
The toughest fight I
Yeah.
had. Well, it was one of this guy. I forgot his name. But he fought Javante Davis and he didn't knock him out. But he knows how to survive inside the ring, so he hugs a lot.
Hmm.
So that was tough for me. That was a good experience for me. So next time I will know what to do.
You were scheduled for a fight, weren't you, before everything got shut down? John? I think we lost John. There
Yeah,
you.
I'm here.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
You were scheduled for a fight, if I'm not mistaken, before everything got shut down. When and where was that supposed to be?
I was supposed to fight here in my hometown in San Ynez, California, at the True Match Casino, April 6th.
Hmm.
I assume. Yeah.
Now, how disappointing was that? It was probably about 3 weeks before your fight, so it's probably about halfway through your training camp. How disappointing is that? You work for, I'm sure you work hard every day, but you work really hard for 4 weeks, and then they pull the rug out from under you.
It happens a lot to other fighters, but it happens for a reason. It's good for the community. It's good for the world. So it's for the best. It's a good idea to stop the fight because we don't want this pandemic to get worse.
And on that same lines, like we said before, you obviously have a lot of family back in the Philippines. Have you ever been able to check in on them? Obviously, here in the United States, we turn on the news, we hear what's going on inside the country mostly. What's going on over there? Have you been able to find anything out about how the COVID-19 has been affecting your native land?
Haven't found out anything, but it seems like everybody's safe out there in the Philippines. I just been talking to my mom's grandma on Facebook, talking to them on the phone. But everything seems okay over there right now. Thank God.
Great, great. All right, so let's talk about a little bit going forward in your career. What do you expect? Well, first of all, it sounds like because you've been training pretty well, I've talked to a lot of boxing people and a lot of decision makers and promoters and whatnot. It seems like when fights, start getting announced again, there's gonna be a lot of fighters scrambling for positions to get in and may have to fight on 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. Is that something that you'd be ready to do if say they open up, say maybe late June or July, and and they give you an opponent for 3 weeks away? You feel you'd be ready for something like that?
That's what I'm preparing for. That's why I tell my coaches, I tell them, you guys need to be at the gym. I need to stay busy because maybe we'll get a fight, and I want to take it because I'm ready and I'm hungry.
Yeah, I think a lot of fighters are ready, hungry. Like you said, a lot of them are working jobs, probably got laid off or whatever from those situations and whatnot. So it's going to be very interesting. Do you consider yourself, hopefully by the end of the year, maybe if you get a couple fights in, to be considered on some of those top prospect lists? Do you see yourself being mentioned at the end of the year as, maybe one to watch for maybe 2021 where you try to really make your move?
That's what I'm trying to do. By the 2021, I want to try and fight for a belt. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to put in my game and see where I'm at the boxing career.
You have a good relationship with Leo Santa Cruz. You told me right before we got on. What's it like getting advice from a guy like that, a guy who's won world titles in I believe 3 weight classes now, and he's been in major fights, and probably he's going to be in another major fight, whether it's Javante Davis or Gary Russell. I know, or Gary Russell. I know that's 2 of the fights that have been mentioned. A guy like Santa Cruz, when you guys are sitting around talking, what's it like to get advice from a guy like that?
It's just a blessing to have those type of people. It feels good. I'm happy that I'm around them and talking to them and following their footsteps. It's a blessing. Yeah.
the featherweight division, talk about. I mean, we got Shakur Stevenson and Josh Warrington and a couple other guys. Some very good contenders. Ruben Villa, who I know is ranked very high up there. Michael Conlon. Talk about the state. Where do you see yourself fitting in the next year or so?
In the same weight, featherweight. That's why I want to get my first belt, and then for now I'm gonna go up there from there.
Right. I mean, do you see yourself fitting in with, at some point maybe fighting a Stevenson, a Conlon, a Villa, Warrington? I believe the fighter from China, Kan Zhu, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
Do you look at those guys and say, you know what, I'm not, maybe I'm not too far away from squaring off with guys like that?
Yeah, like I believe in myself, and I feel like I'm in their level. I could be out there, just gotta keep training hard and believe in myself.
Is there anyone out there that you're maybe targeting, or?
I don't want to say names, but I want to
say
get
a
out
name.
there.
No one's watching us. Don't worry, but we won't tell anyone.
Well, my coach said we should fight Abnormatis.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he has I think 3 more fights in him, so we'll see what happens. But I would love that fight. It would be an honor.
I would imagine if somehow you and Abner get it on that your buddy Leo he's got a lot of advice to give you, considering he's gone 24 rounds with him.
Yeah, I've sparred with Leo, and I fought good with Leo, and I fought, Leo beat him twice, so I felt confident, and I felt like I'll be a brawl.
Who else have you been in the ring with in terms of the sparring?
Jojo Diaz. I been in the ring with him, went a couple of 8 rounds with him. So yeah.
But I mean, you just won a world championship in January.
Yeah. Congrats to him. Hard work. He's a hard worker.
Okay, well, thank you for a few minutes of your time. Where can we find you on social media if the fans want to start to follow John Dato?
You guys could find me on my Instagram page, Team Dato, and my Facebook at John Leo Dato.
There you go. Anything you want to say out there? The fans, we got fans watching from all over the world, the Philippines, and what do you want to say to them out there?
Hey guys, follow me to my journey. I won't disappoint you. My name is John Dato.
Well, we're
Don't forget that name.
We won't forget it. We're going to be keeping a close eye on you because you're undefeated, and you're not you're not one of these guys just undefeated. You're undefeated in 15 fights, 14-0-1, 9 knockouts. I believe that you are going to be one to watch for the last part of this year into next year. You're definitely going to be a guy that the fans, the TV networks, hopefully will get a chance to get a look at. John, thank you very much for a few minutes of your time, and as long as we're being like snowed in here, as we like to say in the East Coast, we'll get you back on for some more interviews as your journey towards a world championship continues.